Welcome to the fourth video in the AI Evolution series, Academic Critical Thinking, Iteration, and Cross-Referencing. This video focuses on verification habits. By now, we all know that large language models can produce fluent answers quickly, but they are not always accurate. Because we are responsible for correctness, especially in healthcare, we need to use critical thinking, iteration, and a verification process to cross-check AI output and reduce the risk of inaccurate or fabricated information. We will focus on critical appraisal, which means we do not accept information at face value just because the AI model sounds confident or polished. We pause, evaluate the claim, and ask, what is the evidence and is it credible? Current research provides a thorough description of hallucinations and reliability issues in large language models. In academia, work, and life, the goal is to be trustworthy and accountable. Trustworthy means your statements are accurate, supported by evidence, and appropriate for the context. Accountable means you can show how you reached your conclusions, cite the sources you used, and clearly document what is confirmed versus what is still uncertain. In healthcare administration, the transparency protects patients, supports quality and compliance, and strengthens decision-making. This table is a repeatable habit for research, policy work, and papers. Let's go over this workflow together. This table is called the claim-by-claim verification workflow, and it shows a simple process for checking whether information is accurate before you use it in a paper, a discussion post, a presentation, or decision memo. First, look at the table headings. The first heading is STEP, which shows the order of the process from 1 to 4. The second heading is What You Do, which explains the action you take at each step. The third heading is What You Produce, which tells you what you should have at the end of each step, such as a checklist, a set of notes, or a corrected final version. Before we start step 1, let's define two key terms. A claim is a statement that says something is true. In healthcare administration, a claim might be a fact, a number, a comparison, or a cause and effect statement. For example, a claim could be readmissions dropped by 12%, or telehealth improves access for rural patients. If you can ask, how do we know that is true, then it is a claim. Reliable sources are references you can trust because they are evidence-based and verifiable. In this course, that usually means peer-reviewed journal articles and primary sources. A primary source is an original, authoritative source such as a document, guideline, or dataset from a.gut.org.edu website. Reliable sources can also include guidance from recognized subject matter experts, such as major professional associations and established agencies that publish standards, reports, or operational guidance. Evidence-based means the information is supported by data, research methods, or documented evidence, not opinions or guesses. Now let's walk through each step. Step 1 is identify claims. Under What You Do, it says to underline factual claims and numbers. That means you read the content and mark every statement that needs proof, especially statistics, dates, outcomes, and anything that sounds precise. Under What You Produce, it says a list of checkable statements. Your output from step 1 is a simple list of claims you plan to verify, which becomes your checklist. Step 2 is verify. Under What You Do, it says to check each claim in trusted sources. This is where you take your checklist and confirm each claim using reliable, evidence-based references. For each claim, you look for a source that clearly supports it and make sure the source is current and relevant. Under What You Produce, it says sources or quotes for each claim. Your output is proof, meaning you can point to a specific article, report, dataset, or expert guidance and show exactly where the claim is supported. Step 3 is revise. Under What You Do, it says to fix or remove unsupported claims. If you cannot verify a claim, you do not keep it as a fact. You either correct it using the evidence you found, rewrite it in more cautious language, or remove it. Under What You Produce, it says corrected output. That means your revised version is now more accurate and aligned with the evidence. Step 4 is document. Under What You Do, it says to note what was verified and what is uncertain. This step is about transparency. You keep a brief record of what sources supported your claims, and you also note anything you could not confirm. Under What You Produce, it says transparency note. That is a short statement or set of notes that explains your evidence trail. In healthcare administration, this matters because decisions can affect quality, safety, compliance, and finances. The big idea is simple. This table helps you move from this sounds right to this is supported by evidence. Identify the claims, verify them in reliable sources, revise anything unsupported, and document your evidence so your work is credible and defensible. I'd like to share with you a few cross-referencing strategies that make AI output more reliable. First, triangulate. That means you check the same claim in at least 2 or 3 independent, high-quality sources. When you can, start with primary sources like .gov.org or edu sites and add peer-reviewed journal articles. Second, force specificity. Do not accept vague references. Ask the model to quote the exact passage it used, and if you provided a PDF, ask for the page and section number so you can confirm it quickly. Third, use retrieval when it is available. If your tool supports file search or document linked retrieval augmented generation, RAG, turn it on so the answer links directly to the documents instead of relying only on generated text. In video 3 of this academic AI series, we focused on research and writing with AI model prompts, from prompts to polished work to create quality output. For this 4th video, we have applied a detailed verification process to ensure sources, claims, and final content accuracy. The key takeaways are that large language models are helpful, but they can be wrong, so verification is not optional. Cross-referencing strengthens your confidence because you are checking claims against multiple reliable sources. As you work, document what you verified and what you could not confirm yet, so your process stays transparent and accountable. Let's discuss critical thinking and the importance of iterative prompting. First topic, scope of practice versus taxonomy codes, which are standard descriptive codes that classify healthcare providers by type and specialty. You learn these codes in healthcare programs, but you don't know how to use them to find your provider's scope of practice of approved medical practice acts. Initial prompt. Can taxonomy codes tell what a provider can treat? Use only evidence-based and primary sources. Output 1. Yes, taxonomy codes determine what they are allowed to treat. Critical thinking. You look at the source and it doesn't actually verify these claims, so you create an iterative prompt for clarification. Second prompt. This output is incorrect. It appears the scope of practice is set by state laws and licensing boards. Explain scope versus taxonomy. Use the most current authoritative sources. Output 2. Taxonomy codes classify specialty. Legal scope comes from state practice acts and board rules. Critical thinking. If taxonomy does not provide legal permission for clinical acts, then I need research on it. State statutes and board guidance govern the practice and define its scope. Prompt 3. I need a reusable method prompt for finding provider scope of practice. That is, for this XYP provider, what XYZ services are they approved for in XYZ state? Output 3. Prompt 3. I need a reusable method prompt for finding provider scope of practice. That is, for this XYP provider, what XYZ services are they approved for in XYZ state? Critical thinking. I need to refine the prompt and store it in my prompt library so I can use it over and over again. Final repeatable scope of practice prompt. Verify my provider's main scope of practice using state law and the state licensing board. Using provider type, credentials, taxonomy codes from NPI, state, output, continued on next slide. Output confirmed listing, provider type, provider credentials, provider taxonomy, main scope of practice and state, major limits or requirement supervision, prescribing controlled substances, settings, primary sources state statute or regulation and licensing board with short quotes, current, accurate, authoritative APA 7 references, and in-text citations for reader access. Nurse practitioner family, credentials, taxonomy codes, family nurse practitioner, psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, state, Florida. Final output is a confirmed listing of the family nurse practitioner, with a specialty as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, with in-text citations and authoritative primary sources from the state of Florida. This instance is just one example to demonstrate the AI research and verification process. Some use cases may be shorter. Some may be even more iterative in conversation before you refine your final prompt for your desired output. In the last video in this series, I will show you how to create simple AI agent projects so that you only have to develop your prompt and process once for these types of repetitive tasks. In video 5 of the AI Evolution series, we will go deep into researching and writing with an AI partner with a focus on creating new knowledge and filling knowledge gaps. Thanks for watching. References. Thank you.